They've won Tonys and Oscars and Emmys and Grammys. There's no red carpet because they're home in their jammies. From Melrose Place to Broadway to Janeway and her crew. Let Seth and James bring all the stars to you.
Anywho,
they're entertaining everyone, so who's gonna grouse? Just sit right back and you'll hear some tales on Stars in the House.
ooh, baby. Welcome to Stars in the House. I am not Seth Rudetsky. My name is Charl Brown, and I will be your host for this evening. Thank you so much for joining us. I know everyone is logging on. I'm very excited to see our incredible cast reunion from MOTOWN, the musical on Broadway. I'm so excited to be speaking with my friends and colleagues, some of which I haven't seen in a very long time, all of which I haven't seen in person in over a year. So I'm really looking forward to tonight. Before we do that, I just wanted to let everyone know why we are here and what we are doing. So, as you know, all of our shows are in support of the Actors Fund, which is a nonprofit that supports everyone in entertainment, not just actors, and has been an essential safe haven for thousands of entertainment professionals during this unprecedented time. We start every show with a shout out to them and an encouragement to donate by visiting starsinthehouse.com, which you can see there at the bottom of your screen, or you can text FUND, F-U-N-D, 2020 to 56512. Again, you can text FUND 2020 to 56512. During the show, we will be collecting donations live as the show is happening. So please have your phone or email open and ready so that you can send your donation to us and then we can read it live on air. So here's a little bit more about the Actors Fund really quickly before we get started. Since the COVID-19 pandemic emerged in the United States in March of 2020, the Actors Fund has distributed more than $18.9 million to more than 15,000 people in need in the performing arts and entertainment industry. Since the show began, Stars in the House has raised more than $900,000. We are on our way to the $1 million goal. Maybe someone with some deep pockets out there can help us get to that tonight. This money helps people with life-saving and critical needs, including paying for medical bills, medications, groceries, rent, mortgage, health insurance, affordable housing opportunities, mental health resources, career guidance, financial wellness, support groups, specifically for BIPOC members of the performing arts community to address ongoing issues of racism, inequality, and inequity in the industry, and programs for young performers and their families. This is an incredible organization. One of the reasons why I'm so happy to be involved with them and why we are doing this show tonight. There were a few years back, one of our original cast members from MOTOWN the musical, Mr. Eric LaWan Summers, succumbed to his battle fighting cancer that he fought for very many years. We were all, part of his support system and by his side during that. And we got to see firsthand how the Actors Fund stepped in his time of need. Here's a picture of Eric LaWan Summers now. I can show you. He was an amazing talent and an amazing human being. There he is in his dressing room at MOTOWN the musical. He played Jackie Wilson, and he was one of the Jackson Five, and he was in many Broadway shows, so he is truly missed. But again, the Actors Fund did a lot to help him out at his time of need. And so whenever the Actors Fund calls, of course, I say yes. All right. So now let's get on with the show. And please, at any point, just feel free to donate. The information is there for you at the bottom. All right, ladies and gentlemen. My first guest, following his Emmy Award nominated turn opposite John Legend as Judas in NBC's Jesus Christ Superstar, most recently starred on Fox's Rent on Fox, Amazon's Modern Love, and as Terry Silver on Starz' hit Power. Prior to that, he completed a star turn as Aaron Burr in the cast of a little show called Hamilton on Broadway. He is a Presidential Scholar semifinalist and a scholarship winner at the British Academy of Dramatic Acting in Oxford. And he is a graduate of Columbia University and a recipient of the university's IAL Diamond Award for Achievement in the Arts, which is an honor he shares with, people just like Tony Kushner and Janine Tesori and Katori Hall. Since his professional debut originating the role of adult Simba in the Lion King National Tour, Brandon has displayed his diverse abilities in a number of roles. Notably, he was nominated for a Tony Award for his role as Harpo in Broadway's The Color Purple, a Grammy for his portrayal of Berry Gordy Jr. in MOTOWN the musical, and was nominated for an Olivier Drama Desk, Lucille Hotel, many other nominations, including Scottsboro Boys, and also he's received his second Tony nomination for Shuffle Along. Ladies and gentlemen, this man is incomparable. He is one of the kindest people I know in the biz. He's like a brother to me. We had some really challenging times putting up MOTOWN the musical. Please welcome Mr. two-time Tony Award nominee Brandon Victor Dixon. There he is.
The whole resume?
I mean, I had to fill some time, so there's enough to tell. How are you doing, sir? It's so good to see you.
I'm well, thank you. How are you? It's good to
I'm
be here.
good
to see you too, sir.
Yes, I'm glad you're well. I know we have run into each other a couple of times in the park. I just moved from Harlem, but I've seen you here and there, so I know that you're doing all right. Where are you now, though? I think you've maybe moved.
Yeah, right now. Well, no, I haven't moved, but right now I'm in Los Angeles until July, working on something. On something. Okay. Is there any upcoming projects you can tell us about at this moment? Anything that can be let out of the bag? If not, sure. I mean, I'm working. I mean, the film I'm working on right now is a film that I'm producing and starring in, and it's a political thriller that's really about dark money and politics and the unseen social ideologies that then become propagated throughout our social and political system as a result of that by organizations and influences none of us have any idea are about or are in operation. And then in the spring, I'm opening a new off-Broadway show called Black No More, that is written by screenwriter John Ridley and Black Thought of the Roots. So those are
amazing. You guys heard it here first. We cannot wait to come see that and support you, my brother. I'm so excited about all this. So, as I said, I got to play your best friend, Smokey Robinson, to your Barry Gordy Jr. We had lots of fun putting the show together. Lots of hard work. There we go. Pictures.
Look at Daniel in the background. Tony nominee Daniel J. Watt.
Tony nominee. Look at
Isn't that Daniel?
I think so. It. Or is that Wilkie? Is that Wilkie's fat head?
Is it? with them wigs, you don't know. No, I don't think they made a wig for Wilkie for everyone. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So we have some people in the comments over here. PM Clancy says Brandon Victor Dixon was awesome as Judas and in the TV live of Rent. So can we please talk about that iconic role that you slayed all the way down and through? One of my favorite musical theater roles of all time, Judas. Will you please tell us about that experience working with John Legend and putting that together?
You know, it was a really pleasurable experience. I mean, one thing is it's new, you know, doing a live theater as live television. It's a hybrid of genres. So there's the excitement of really creating something new. I was also not very familiar with the show beforehand. So much so, I'll tell on myself, so much so that I didn't realize. So I watched the movie before the audition, but I had like a couple of days before the audition, and I had to learn the music. So once Judas died, I would turn the movie off, and I was like, all right, got it. I started to learn the stuff. Went to my audition, did the thing, booked it. And I'm in rehearsal. It's like the third day of rehearsal, and I'm overhearing the musical director talking next to me on break. He's like, "So have you all gone through Superstar yet?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh no, we didn't do Superstar. We went through all the other ones." And I was like, "Wait, what's Superstar?" And they're like, "The song, the last song you sing in the show." And I was like, "Oh right, oh yeah. I didn't understand you." I was like, "I need to go finish this movie." And I went home and I watched it, and I was like, "Juice dies. Comes back in a sequin jumpsuit and sings the best song in the entire show."
And the title.
I was like, "Oh, okay, we about to do something."
Yeah.
So
So you really didn't know about that song before? That's so crazy.
The only song I knew from the show was "Heaven on Their Minds." I'd been familiar with that. I had heard it at one time in high school, and I was like, "This song is really dope." So I learned it. I would sing it at like random auditions. Just to do it. Like I would audition for shows that I wasn't going to be in just to be able to sing this song because like you couldn't really sing it for most shows. So I was like, all right, but but it came in handy.
Yeah. Wow. I know this is my first time hearing that. That is incredible. Okay. Well, so then I know that, everyone who's watching wants to hear about your time in the blockbuster hit Hamilton. You were fantastic. I can't even imagine what it was like to step into those shoes, especially when you did at the time that you did, when our country was in such political turmoil, and you made headlines, in fact, for addressing the then Vice President Pence from the stage. So do you want to tell me about your experience in Hamilton and what that moment was like, or your feelings around that?
Hamilton was it was an unexpected experience because at the time I was doing Shuffle Along
Right.
literally in the theater right behind it, so we shared an alley. And I'm also I haven't replaced in very many shows at all.
Yeah.
It was one of the first shows I ever replaced in, I think, maybe even the first. And so it was so I hadn't even thought about it, but after they reached out and asked if I'd be interested, and I really started to listen to the material, I got excited by the platform that was created to really say so much and express so much artistically. And then when I went over there, I really had a really wonderful time. The cast was really fantastic. It was just a great building. And it's not something that everybody talks about a lot in these public forums, but like part of what makes a Broadway experience is the people you're with, backstage
Amen.
and on stage. It's the group. And so I had a lot of fun with them, and I really got to freely explore a lot of things as an actor, creatively and emotionally in that show. And so it was like a very exciting experience for me.
There he is. Yes.
Yes.
So I want to talk about Shuffle Along since you just mentioned it. So what was it like getting that second call, or how did you find out that you got nominated for your second Tony Award nomination?
This one, it's so interesting. The first one is very vivid to me. The second one, I mean, it was much like the first. Like I was in bed, my mom was in town again. It's the same thing. My mom was in town. It was the last time I was in bed. My mom was in town, and but it's one of those things you don't know whether it's going to happen or not. And I've gotten to the point where I don't think about it anymore. I don't focus on it. It's not what I'm. But I did. It's hard to avoid when the date is, and so you kind of knew. But I try to make sure I sleep in. And
right.
If your phone is blown up, then it came through. So
right.
But it was something because I remember the experience so vividly during MOTOWN, and I was like, I don't know where this one, and I was early enough on my process. Like it's not what this is about. This can't be. But I wasn't as far along in my process.
Gotcha.
So it was one of those, but it came through, and I was deeply grateful. It was one of the. It made me reflect on our Tony experience of MOTOWN, particularly because I remember when we did our Tony performance in MOTOWN, and we got in that circle backstage, and as much as MOTOWN was like an incredible blessing in my life, I think in all of our lives, but MOTOWN, like the artists themselves, it was a blessing, but it was a challenge. There were personal challenges that we were going through. There was, how to build a show like that, how to bring those stories forward, what's the balance, all that stuff. And I remember when we were holding their hands together in that circle, and I said to everybody, I was like, you know what, man, like really embrace this moment, really take this in. Color Purple was my first Broadway show on Broadway, and I was like, I never imagined that it would take me 10 years to get back to the Tony Awards, to get back to Broadway. Like I never imagined that.
Yeah, that's how
and
it
I
is.
Was like, yeah, and because and so I was like, we have to remember to savor all of these things. This is a very, it's been a challenge to get here, but we are here. Live.
We're fortunate to be there. Yeah.
And we're all going to get to watch Valisia walk along the Paso Route, and that we're all going to get to bear witness to that. So let's just do it up.
Well, Brandon, speaking of that, we actually have a clip from the Tony Award performance. So here you go, everyone. This is what he's talking about.
I never met a girl who makes me feel the way that you do. You're all right. Whenever I'm asked who makes my dream feel, I say that you're out of sight. So FIFA, look out, baby, 'cause here I come. And I'm bringing you a love, so get ready, get ready. I'm gonna try to
Yes. Oh my God. You
You
can
know?
see me on your to the right of you, just like bopping away. I was so
Yeah,
excited. That was my first time going to the Tonys. That was my first time performing on the Tonys. I was nominated. I had just
mhm.
lost a Tony, but it was all right. I was
But
so
it was
happy to be
all
performing.
right.
It
It
was
was all
all
right.
good. I mean, you honestly don't understand what they say. It's just an honor to be nominated until a moment like
Yeah,
that. I like
that's the
literally,
win.
yeah. What's that?
I said, yeah, that's the win, really.
That's the
The
yeah, it was
nomination.
the win. And getting and like you said, we huddled up as we did often before even the real show, but like on that Tony Awards performance. And what you said to me, especially in that moment, was like so uplifting and inspiring. And that's why you see me running out there on that stage like that, just excited to be there with my family, my Motown family.
You
Um,
know?
and so for
And
everyone out there watching,
foreshadowing, I got to sing to my future stage wife, Audra McDonald.
that's right. You sure did. That's right. Exactly. So we had an incredible time putting that show together. I don't know if people know how Broadway shows come together, but we had done two workshops, I think, before the actual we got into rehearsals for Broadway, and so we got to develop the show. And so do you want to speak to what it was like getting to work with the actual Berry Gordy and with this catalog of music and portraying him?
A dream come true. You know, Michael Jackson is and always will be the greatest artistic inspiration I've ever had in my life. And so, you know, I followed him from the Jackson 5. And so I was intimately familiar with Berry Gordy and the legacy he built, and just the both the creative, the social, and
Mhm.
the economic dynamically powerful entity and engine that he managed to create with all of those wonderful artists. And so it was just doing the readings beforehand, when we would develop the material, because I got to come in on the ground floor, because
Mhm.
I'm grateful, ever grateful that Charles Randolph Wright, our director and a mentor of
Yes,
mine,
I
who
think he's
called me.
watching. He said he's not going to
Well,
comment, but he loves us, so he's
well,
he's watching us.
he called me the evening he got the job, and really brought me in. And so I remember we would spend time working on the material at Berry Gordy's first house, the creative house, which was at the northern end of the property, before we would walk down to the main house, which is in the
Right.
middle of the property, when we would eat, before we would go down to play tennis at the pool house on
Right.
the southern end of the property.
On the
So,
property.
but
Mhm.
you're with this man who's a wonderfully open and generous man. Oh, very fun, engaging, as all the stories say, and welcoming you into this legacy, this real American legacy. And I learned a great deal from him. Most of, like, whenever people's like, all right, leave us with a final word and the thing, I'm regularly tossing out Berry Gordy quotes.
Yeah.
Um, but and one of the things about it is, like, I mentioned kind of those three aspects because, particularly as time goes on and as we continue to watch the growing changes in our world, in our
Mhm.
country, in our industry, I often reflect on Barry being the kind of person he is and moving the way he did. Barry was an artist, he was a songwriter, but he was also a businessman. And he also recognized the unbreakable connection between the things he did, who he was, and who his
Mhm.
people were, and the placement and the advancement of his people
Right.
in the world, the advancement of their image, of how they see themselves and how the world sees them and how we see each other. I learned so many more things about Barry, like, first of all, Barry shows you what you can do when you really invest in the people of your community around you. All those Motown stars, for the most part, they're young Black boys and girls from inner city Detroit,
Mhm.
DC, and
The
he just
project.
invested
Yeah.
in the world around him. He invested in his neighborhood. And then when you began to learn that, Barry's business model, all of the houses on Motown Row, there's the house for the recording, there's the writing, there's
Mhm.
distribution, but there's also quality control, there's
Yeah.
etiquette school, there's teaching the artist how to play certain instruments, there's a cultivation of you as a human being, with the recognition that how you move in the world will be important for you, the way you're able to create space for yourself, but also a reflection for others. All the early records had pictures and cartoons on them, so that because he recognized that America was not yet ready to just embrace the Black talent for what it was, he needed to trick them into recognizing what they love. Give them the music when they fall in love, and then when they see who's bringing it to them, you create an undeniable connection within them. You know, you sever the cognitive dissonance that allows them to love and appreciate what you create, but distance themselves from who creates it. You know, he
Amen.
funded many of the organizations in the civil rights movement. He paid for Martin Luther King's payroll.
That's why we know I Have a Dream speech. Yeah.
Exactly. You know, he was an assigned artist for Motown. So, you know, I really reflect a great deal on Barry because he recognized the time and the environment he was in, but he moved in the way that he thought was what made the most sense for him based on the resources and the access that he had, which is not the same way that everybody moved.
Also, too, you know, he was a guy coming up at the time when, you know, the motor industry was booming in Detroit. And so there's a great scene that I still don't know why we cut. Maybe you know more than I why we cut it. But the factory scene that was in there when he talked, because Berry Gordy, especially in interviews, he loves to talk about his business model and that, you know, they would come in an old rusty piece of metal and go out a glimmering, shining star, but like an automobile, you know. Yeah. And so that was really how he took his artists in raw talent in the rough and shined them into these beautiful, glamorous talents. And it was one of the first times we got to see internationally recognized Black glamour for what it was, you know, the Diana Rosses of the world. And so I don't think we'd be where we were today in the entertainment industry if it weren't for, you know, the Motown records of them all. So
in the entertainment industry or in our social political growth as a nation.
Exactly. It helped to fuel that. And like I said before, we wouldn't know the I Have a Dream speech if it weren't recorded on Motown Records. That's the reason why we all understand we know the timbre and the cadence of Dr. Martin Luther King when he said it. We didn't just have to read it from a transcript. We actually all know that. So I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate you donating your time. It's good to see you. Be well.
See you too, brother.
Yeah. Until we meet again, take care of yourself. I'll see you soon.
Enjoy the rest of the show, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Brandon. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So, like I said, we are here raising money for the Actors Fund. I do this every time because I think it's important for you guys to have an understanding of why it's so important to donate and what the money that you would be donating, please donate, can do for people in the entertainment industry. I have some testimonials. One of them says, "Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate this more than you know. This will help me stay afloat for an extra month that I was going to be unable to. I will try to pay it forward how I can and donate to the Actors Fund in the future whenever possible. Lots of love and happy holidays to you all." This is from a grant recipient during the holidays. Someone who was dealing with the financial downfalls that COVID-19 has brought for us to be unable to perform. The Actors Fund really has stepped in and has done what they can to help people with that. So I'm now going to introduce another incredible diva. She's an international award-winning songstress, and she will be returning to Broadway this fall in the role of the Moon in the revival of Caroline or Change. She will also be headlining a Patriotic Pops concert with the Columbus Symphony Orchestra next month. Please welcome Miss Mary Wells, Miss Nakinji. Come on, Nakinji. Hi, you're on mute, my love. I can't hear you.
Let's start it again. Hi.
Yes, darling, how are you? It is so wonderful to see you.
Oh my God. It's been a journey, pandemic has really brought a whole new light to all of our lives.
Right. And you are a mother, so you've had an extra duty. So shout out to all the mothers out there making it work and keeping it moving.
I said, Jesus, take the wheel today. We were just talking about the fact that, like, you know, my whole day was like, I start teaching in the morning. These are my Saturdays. I'm teaching in the morning. My daughter simultaneously is going to gymnastics. She's taking Romanian classes. She is doing tennis. And then we went to the park today, and
I did too. Lovely. Yeah.
Dragging my child home from the park because I'm like, girl, I gotta sing at Stars in the House. Like, I gotta beat my face. He's like, no, just 5 more minutes. Like negotiating. It's all about negotiations with your children. But here, got a sitter, because if I didn't have a babysitter, my daughter would be sitting right next to me, like licking a popsicle or something. So, with that
Well, she
said,
would have been welcome. We could have seen her. But Mama has work to do right now.
yes, exactly. So happy to be here. So happy
Thank you.
see everyone. Oh my God. And watching that clip on the Tonys. And
Right. Do you remember that night, Nakenji? I mean, it was so incredible. You know, while we're talking about that, we actually have a clip from when you make your entrance onto the Tony Award stage that night. So let's go ahead and play that. Yes. Oh gosh, that was so wonderful. And that was our wonderful Saycon singing lead, and Rebecca Covington also there.
Honey,
Rebecca
Saycon. I
Weber,
was just talking to Saycon yesterday. Oh my God. Like, it's just like, it's amazing. I mean, that team, that creative team.
Yeah.
Oh my God, like Warren and Patty and
Charles.
Charles. And oh my God. Like, it was just like the dancing and all of us, everyone was putting like their heart and souls and everything.
Yes, because Nakenji, you know, just as I did, we had to portray these living legends. And so it was really like, I think we always talked about how we just wanted to honor them, right? And we just wanted to make sure that their legacy was well kept and that we were presenting them authentically and with the best voice we could and with the energy that we could. So, and you, of course, are always good at that, Miss Thing. You definitely always came with the voice, the energy, and the glamour. That's for sure.
I was
there she is.
trying to live up to these legends, to these. I mean, it's these I call superstars, superheroes. I mean, it's just the history. And Berry Gordy, working with Berry Gordy too,
directly,
and like I mean, directly, and just and we still keep in touch. Like, I literally was just talking to him like a couple of hours ago. Yeah. So
there we are. Look at the cast. Oh,
and I'm always like Mr. Gordy, you know, and everyone calls him Barry, and I'm like, God, it's Mr. Gordy.
Yeah, it's Mr. Gordy. Yeah,
Mr. Gordy, come on, man. You know, he's like freaking MOTOWN. This is Mr. Gordy. Yeah. But yes, I mean, I think, you know, and then seeing, you know, this great man who made all of these artists. And when I say make, like, you know, it's not like he like took a magic wand, you know, and boo, you're a fabulous star now. And just like you and Brandon were talking earlier about, like, just the levels of the making of the artists and cultivating them as people, as human beings, you know, it's just amazing. So it was always wonderful to be able to see, you know, all those performances, Mr. Gordy be sitting in, watching us, you know, and all that stuff, and just seeing that light that would flash in his eyes, watching us on stage and seeing his life being told authentically through his eyes and through the artists and through the direction of Charles. It was just great. It was great.
Yeah. And getting to wear those costumes and those wigs and, you know, be at that time.
Yes. Emilio Isosa.
Emilio Isosa, right. Yes. We're gonna talk about him again later when Miss Ross gets on the screen. But I wanted to ask you about what you're up to now. Now you're coming back to Broadway.
I am. I'm so
Yes.
excited.
And Carolina Change. Tell us about how that's going.
I call it oh my God. Well, with the pandemic and all of us getting that notice, like, what was it, like March 12th that Broadway was shut down.
Like that. Mm-hmm.
And it literally, we're like all in costumes, ready to do our final dress rehearsal. It literally was like, okay. And we had to take a vote, through like equity rules. We all had to take a vote whether we were going to stay and do the final dress rehearsal or go home. I mean, there was so much going on during that time. Like, people were nervous about getting sick and all of that stuff. Everyone had different health conditions and all of that stuff. And we really honestly thought that Broadway was shutting down for like a couple of weeks. Like, no one knew that.
You left stuff in the dressing room, right?
Exactly. So we figured, okay, so you know what? There was a vote that we wouldn't do the final dress rehearsal, that it would be better for us to do the final dress rehearsal when we come back. That sounds great, right?
What you thought.
You do in a couple of weeks. Yeah, it's in a couple of weeks. A couple of weeks turned into more like month after year. And I was literally just at the theater a couple of months ago, and it's like a time warp, when we first went back to the theater to collect our things in the dressing rooms, the set was still there. Everything was still there. Coffee mugs were like still set, like in the theater. Stage manager, like it literally, like when we left everything there, assuming we were coming back soon, right? Now, like the entire Studio 54 has been like, all the seats are out, they're redoing it, like all the other theaters, changing the ventilation system, just making sure that when we come back with 100% capacity, we are all safe. And that is the most important thing. We are so devastated that Broadway shut down, but the most important thing is saving lives and making sure that we're healthy. No one wants to die. Like, I was fully vaccinated by February. I was like, I ain't playing with this stuff, okay? Like, listen, I got a child to raise. I'm taking care of my mother. My mom's in like a nursing facility. Like, they depend on me. Like, nothing can happen to me. So, it's like super mom, super daughter, super wife, and just really excited to come back. And so we're, they made the announcement that we're going to be starting our previews and opening in October, and I get to play the moon. I get to fly. Like, I call myself like the Black Glinda of Carolina Change. It's like, it's so exciting. Like, when it's time to go on stage, I got to like get strapped in, and, it's in this big ball, and I'm like in this big bubble, and I'm like, oh my God, it's time to go. And I cannot wait to like be able to fly on stage.
I can't wait to see this.
I know, it's amazing. So the cast is amazing, like just fierce singers. The creative team's amazing. Roundabout Theater, oh my God. Like, even after we got shut down, they were still like paying us for a month and just taking care of us with health insurance. And they like fully committed to Carolina Change. Like, when Broadway opens, we'll just continue from where we stopped. And, it's just been a blessing to have, you're hearing about shows that closed before Broadway even like started back up, we're, Frozen closed and all these, Mean Girls not coming back. So, to be able to have a theater like Roundabout Theater that's so committed to the show and the artists and the cast and the crew and bringing us back when we, so it's so like fortunate about that. And so during this pandemic, I've been working on projects and like as you say, my Dorothy Dandridge musical.
Please. Tell us about Dorothy. Yeah.
Yes. I have an amazing creative team. And Emmy winner Trey Ellis is writing the book. We have Shelton Becton writing the music. Tamara Tooney is a director, and we are doing readings, and we're going to be a part of the Dare to Be Different music festival in New York in like January, February, and then we're bringing it to Carnegie Hall. So Dorothy's going to be at Carnegie Hall. So we've been, she needs to be at Carnegie. Come on, the legacy.
Well, you know how to get to Carnegie Hall, right? Practice. Okay.
Practice. Absolutely. When I was at Juilliard, getting my master's degree there, as I was an opera singer, first and foremost.
That's what people don't know about you, Nikinji. You wail for the gods, but you actually have a legit trained voice as well.
Yes. And Dorothy, I get to sing opera. I get to do the habanera. Come on now, you can't do Dorothy without doing the habanera.
No.
So I get to sing lots of opera, and then also Shelton has written some amazing music that's blues and jazz and gospel and musical theater. So it's a really wonderful plate of different genres that's in this musical, telling the story of Dorothy and her life and her rise to Hollywood. And so we're excited about that.
I can't wait.
And this is like I have to remember these because I look at my background. I'm like, and then there's Forever Summer. And that's a Donna Summer show that I celebrate her life. And that is going to Carnegie next season as well. And then I have a TV show, Black Butterfly.
Yeah.
And that is networks are looking at that as we speak. So
that is incredible, because you are stay busy. Well, listen, I know that you always have lots of irons in fire. You always do like that. And so I asked you, and you greatly, I appreciate you agreeing to sing for us here today. So what are you going to be singing for us here today?
I'm going to sing the song that I got to sing 8 shows a week.
Yes.
Right. It is the song that Smokey Robinson, Charl, wrote for Mary Wells, the song that crossed her into the pop charts. She was the first female to bring Motown to the pop charts, and that was with My Guy.
Yes.
I will do My Guy for all of you. And as you know, with us being at home, we are the technicians, lighting directors,
videographer, cameraman.
Exactly. So I'm about to start this for you, and happy listening.
Thank you. Please take it away.
Nothing you could say could tear me away from my guy. Nothing you could do, 'cause I'm stuck like glue to my guy. I gave my guy my word of honor to be faithful, and I'm gonna, you best be believing I won't be deceiving my guy. Nothing you can do to make me untrue to my guy. Nothing you can buy can make me tell a lie to my guy. I'm sticking to my guy like a stamp to a letter, like birds of a feather. We stick together. I'm telling you from the start, I can't be torn apart from my guy. As a matter of opinion, I think he's tops. My opinion is he's the cream of the crop. As a matter of taste, to be exact, he's my ideal. As a matter of fact, no muscle-bound man could take my hand from my guy. My guy. No handsome face could ever take the place of my guy. He may not be a movie star, but when it comes to being happy, we always are meant to say, you could take me away from my guy. those Motown horns, baby. No muscle bound man could take my hand from my guy. No handsome face could ever take the place of my guy. He may not be a movie star, but when it comes to being happy, we all is not a man today. You could take and be away from my guy.
What you say?
Is that a man today? You could take and be away from my guy.
Tell me more.
There's not a man today you can take and be away from my guy.
Oh, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, the Nikinji, thank you so much for joining us, Nikinji. Thank you for that performance. You are incredible. I love you. Hope to see you again soon. I'll come see you on Broadway as soon as that opens up. Yes. Be well.
Sending you lots of kisses.
Yes, lots of love. And please hug your daughter for me.
Bye, everyone.
All right. Bye, my love. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot more in store. That was Nikinji. I just wanted to go ahead and read a couple of the donations that we have. Thank you guys so much for donating. One says, tonight's $25 donation is in honor of Motown, which I loved. David Katz's birthday. I missed the live show the other day. And all the work Seth and James have done for the Actors Fund. Oh, and Charl, you are a great host. Thank you. Thank you very much. Seattle, Susie Q. We have another donation of $30 in honor of these living legends who portrayed the fabulous Motown legends. Their voices are giving me life. Thank you for a great night of great music. Jason from Texas. Thank you so much, Jason. Like I said, you can look at the bottom of your screen. You can make donations to www.starsinthehouse.com or text fund to text fund 2020 to 56512 and forward your receipts to donations at starsinthehouse.com, and I might read it out for you. Okay, let's keep this show on the road. Our next guest is an international award-winning, that was the wrong intro. And our next guest is an American soul musician from Georgia. He is part of the soul revival movement in music and has been nominated for a Grammy, not one, not two, but 3 times in the category of Best Traditional R&B Performance. He also made his Broadway debut in Motown the Musical as the one and only Stevie Wonder. Please welcome 3-time Grammy Award nominee, my friend, Ryan Shaw.
What's up, everybody?
How's it going, Ryan? I like your shirt. Now, I must say, Ryan was also, although he was also Stevie Wonder, he was one of my miracles.
I was a miracle.
He was a miracle. That's why I'm wearing my shirt in honor of Smoking the Miracles today. We actually got these shirts from Claudette. I think she brought Claudette.
Yeah.
Robinson brought these for us.
I should have worn mine. Should I go change?
No, you look. That's fine. So now we have 2 different kinds. We're good.
It's hard to get everything in the screen. It's hard to get the hair and then the
right.
So they know I have it on.
Okay, we know you have it on. So I must tell everyone out there. So Ryan and I, we got to do Motown together on Broadway, but also I got the opportunity to reprise my role opening London's West End, and Ryan was there doing a Michael Jackson show at the time on the West End. So we got to cut up all around the streets of London town. We're not going to tell any of those secrets here today.
It made my time there so awesome, though. We are brothers for life.
Yes, exactly. So thank you so much for joining us. So tell me, please, what have you been up to and how are you?
Well, I'm well, as one could be during these times.
Amen.
I've been up to quite a bit. It's been difficult I put out a new record. That's been the biggest thing.
Okay. What's the name of that record?
It's called Imagining Marvin.
And I imagine that's about Marvin Gaye.
It is.
Which is a role you did understudy on Broadway as well.
I did understudy Marvin on Broadway and went on quite a few times. It was pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah. And where can people find that?
Huh?
Where can people find that?
People can find it anywhere they listen to music. So Amazon, iTunes, Pandora, whatever, Tidal, you name it. Deezer, any of them. It's out everywhere.
Amazing.
You can get physical. It's actually a joint venture record deal with Broadway Records. I'm actually on Broadway Records, which is great. And they've been super awesome. So if you want a physical copy, you can go to broadwayrecords.com, and you can get it, and you can get the record there. But yes, it's called Imagining Marvin, and it sort of just came about, oddly enough, during an odd time during the pandemic. But I was having a conversation with my manager, and we were just talking about, I had, done Broadway, and I had going to London, did the West End, and I came back and I was doing I did Jesus Christ Superstar in Chicago.
That's right.
The one that transferred in from Regent's Park in London, and I played Judas, and that was so much fun to do.
Yeah.
But then it was time for me to get back. I was like, well, it's time for me to get back into music and do my own thing. And it just so happened that at the time we were talking, it was Marvin Gaye's 80th birthday. And,
oh, wow.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? And then all these bullet points in my life started coming back to me. So I realized that when I first moved to New York, I was like, where do you go to be like known, be seen? There was like, go to the open mics. And so I went to down to the Village Underground. And the first song I ever sang was Everything Must Change.
Mm-hmm.
And you're in a bar and people are smoking and drinking and nobody they used to smoke when I first got here, but people were like smoking and drinking and nobody really wanted to hear a ballad. And so I switched my song and I started singing What's Going On. And that's the first time people stopped, put their drinks down, everybody paid attention to what I was doing. And so I literally sang What's Going On for like the next 2 years. Every time I went out to sing, it was What's Going On. To the point where they didn't even ask me what I want to sing anymore. The host of the show would
like, you singing this.
The host of the show would turn around to the band and just have them start playing the intro. And then I knew it was my time. Right. And so I was like, oh wow, that was Marvin. Then fast forward, playing Stevie on Broadway, and understudying Marvin at the same time.
There we go.
That's
you and Mr. Wonder himself.
Yes. And that was an experience meeting him, which was great. Yeah. But there I am. So, fast forward to doing Broadway. And then the year that Motown was nominated for Grammy for Best Cast Album, I was also nominated again for my cover of the Beatles song Yesterday. Mm-hmm. But my cover of Yesterday was heavily based off of Marvin Gaye's cover of Yesterday. So I'm starting to see Marvin, like he's been a huge influence for me. And I was like, in his 80th birthday year, I would like to honor him with this record, and not a covers album. So most of the songs all of the songs that I chose for Marvin were songs that I felt I could make my own, enough to honor him, as I tried to do with Stevie on Broadway, to honor him, but you get just as much me as you got of him. And I wanted the songs to feel just as comfortable on me as they did on Marvin. And so that was the goal.
Well, Ryan, I honestly, now I can't wait to hear you sing. So I think you prepared a little Marvin Gaye for us. Do you want to let the people be blessed?
I did.
All right.
Let me turn my speakers on so you don't get a feedback and put on my.
I know my cousin Charmaine is watching. Shout out to her. I know she loves some Ryan Shaw and some Stevie Wonder. So
can you hear me?
Charmaine.
Hold on. Do I have the right cans on? Hold on. I have to switch headphones.
Take your time. Like we said, we're our own sound engineers, lighting engineers.
On.
Okay.
Like Mackenzie said, we're doing everything here.
Everything here ourselves.
We're everything. I'm lighting.
Right. We're everyone.
It's so hot in here with these lights. No. All right. But this is my version of Sexual Healing.
Okay. Let's get healed. Come on.
Let's get healed. Let's get down tonight. Baby, I'm hot just like an oven. I need some loving. Baby, I think I'm much longer. I forgot the lyric. It's getting stronger and stronger. And when I get that feeling, I want sexual healing. Sexual healing, baby, is good for me, making me feel so fine. Helps to relieve my mind, and it's good for me. And when I get that feeling, I want sexual healing. Sexual healing, baby, is good for me. Sexual healing is something that's good for me. Whenever blue teardrops are falling and my emotional stability is leaving me, there is something I can do. I can get on the telephone and call you up, baby, and honey, I know you'll be there to leave me, 'cause I love you give to me will free me, honey. If you don't know the things you're dealing, well, I can tell you, darling, that it's sexual healing. Get up, get up, get up, get up, and let's make love tonight. Wake up, wake up, wake up, baby. You do it right, baby. I got sick this morning. A sea was storming inside of me, and baby, well, I think I'm capsizing. The waves are rising and rising, and when I get the feeling, I want sexual healing, sexual healing, baby. It's good for me, make me feel so fine. And it's such a rush, helps to relieve my mind. And it's good for us. And when I get the feeling, I want sexual healing, baby. It's good for me, sexual healing is something that's good for me. And it's so good for me. It's so good to meet my baby. Just grab a hold. Baby, take control of my body and mind. Soon we'll be making it funny. Oh, we're doing fine. You're my medicine. Open up and let me in. Darling, you're so great. I can't wait for you to operate. Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Let's make love tonight. Wake up, wake up, wake up, baby. Oh, you're doing right. Heal me, baby. Whoa, heal me, darling. Yeah. Heal me. Come on. Heal me, baby. Oh, baby. Soothe me, baby. Soothe me, darling. Whoa. Come on now. Heal me, baby. Yeah. Heal me, baby. I want you to heal me, darling. I'm telling you, I can't wait for you to operate. I can't wait for you to operate. Soothe me, baby, soothe me, darling. I can't wait for you to operate. Oh, soothe me, baby, soothe me, darling. Yeah. Heal me, baby. Come on and heal me, baby. Yeah. You do, baby. You heal me, baby. You heal me, baby. Heal me, love. Oh, yeah. Na 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 na.
Now I got a shoe, okay, coming straight for you. If I could get this shoe through this camera, you better sign Ryan Shaw. Thank you so much for joining me, my friend. I miss you so much. We got to hang out sometime soon. I'm fully back, so let's go.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, 3-time Grammy Award nominee.
Oh, by the way, if you want to hear more, I actually have a live stream show because May the 21st is actually the 50th anniversary of the release of Marvin Gaye's What's Going On album. And so on stageit.com, go to my website, ryanshaw.com, and you can get tickets to the live stream. I'm diving deeper into the specifically What's Going On record. And it's going to be that night on the 50th anniversary of the release of the record. And sometimes you can catch me on the road. I've been doing an Aretha Franklin tribute with symphonies all over the countries with the one and only Carpathia Jenkins. It's a dream come true. And yeah, That's what I'm
There
up
we
to.
go. RyanShaw.com, ladies and gentlemen. You trust me.
And if
you
you're
want to see this person live, okay?
One last thing. And if you're in Philly, I'm doing the Memorial Day concert. It's an outside free concert in Philly. Memorial Day on the 29th, Saturday the 29th, a patriotic concert.
Yes, because the summer is coming. Hot vac summer is coming. All right, Ryan. It's good to see you. I will see you soon.
Good to see you
be
too.
well.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have a couple more donations I want to read for you. One says, can Kenji sing to me every night? Thank you for sharing your voice tonight. And that's $15. Ben from New Jersey. Also, number 2, donating as I'm a huge fan of Ryan Shaw's album, Imagining Marvin. Hope one day to hear him live. $30 from Janicia from Detroit. So you know where to go, RyanShaw.com, Janicia. That's how you can see Ryan Shaw live. I'm also going to read one more testimony. In March 2020, I just had cancer surgery and was in the middle of radiation therapy. Then COVID-19 took storm. I was an emotional mess and desperately needed support. I reached out to the Actors Fund and my counselor took my call with care, concern, healing, and kindness. I'm grateful for her support over these past months as she has been extremely helpful during a very dark time in my life. I wanted you all to know that you have a real gem on staff. I'm very thankful for the care that the Actors Fund provides for the entertainment industry. And that's from an Actors Fund client. Again, this was from March of 2020, a client that had just gone through cancer surgery. And that leads me to my next guest. Our next guest has been seen on Broadway in such shows as The Book of Mormon, but she was also my Miss Ross the Boss. Please welcome my fellow Tony nominee, Miss Valisia LeKae. Come on, girl.
Hi.
Oh, Miss Ross, ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
First of all, let me take you back here.
You all right?
You know, I'm
Right.
pretty sure I am currently pregnant with Ryan's baby.
Right.
I'm just gonna leave you here
Uh,
because hey, woo,
well, yeah.
he really did it for me. That right there. I miss all of you so much, but Ryan, he's just the one.
Won't he do it? Won't he will?
Won't he do it? Won't he do it?
Won't he do it?
Yeah.
So Valisia, now you took on a very noble and a very strong position as being the face and the spokeswoman for ovarian cancer, which caused you to actually take an exit from our show a little earlier probably than you had anticipated. So would you like to talk about your involvement with that awareness?
Yeah, obviously, cancer was not something that I would have ever expected to happen to me, let alone ovarian cancer. There was I had no history of that in my family at all. Neither breast cancer, I also. And so when I was diagnosed at the age of 34, it really took me by surprise. But what I found was that every time I would go look for research, there were no women that looked like me. And not just like no Black women, there were no older Black women, there were no younger Black women. And so there was this whole erasure of our stories when it came to having ovarian cancer. And it really infuriated me, but it also ignited a fire in me that obviously this is a very private time of my life, but it could be a very powerful time in my life. Mm-hmm. And I chose to use my journey in order to help other women and sort of lead a path. If someone else who was diagnosed at the age of 34, who was also a woman of color, that she had sort of a map of how to get through this. It was very new to me. I didn't have any resources at my disposal, and I'm so grateful for my agents because one of their mothers was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and she sent me to my doctor. So it was really really became an amazing journey for me because I got to travel and speak to different organizations around the country and do different television shows and just continue to be an advocate for ovarian cancer survivors, but particularly a voice for women of color, young women of color. And so it has become not just my passion, but also my purpose.
Yes, and you were such an outstanding voice and an outstanding ambassador and brought a lot of awareness. I'm sure you helped a lot of people. So I just wanted to commend you on that because the work that you continue to do is incredible. And I'm just so proud of you. And it was just I feel so lucky that we got to share that journey together of being Tony nominees for the first time from our show. We have some pictures of us. I think there's a picture of us on the red carpet from the Tony Awards when you were, there we go. That's from the night before the Tonys. Yes. And then we have another one with that dress. Come on.
Yes. Emilio
Sosa. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's Emilio Sosa, that he was our costume designer. He's also clearly a fashion designer. And
yes,
here we are.
That dress is that my then partner, who's now my husband, would bring an orchid for me in my dressing room like every 6 weeks. And so when I wanted a dress to be made, I wanted it to be like an orchid. And I said, this is what I would like for my dress to be like. And Emilio, he just did the darn thing. Oh. So I would always be grateful for him for that. And I still have the dress, and we can sell the dress for a large donation.
Okay.
To the Actors Fund if we're trying to do that. So
right. Well, then
let's talk about it.
Okay, let's get some high bids. We're gonna start at least a couple thousand, right? So exactly. come with the funds. We're gonna start the bidding. We're at $2,000. I'm gonna say it here now, so you guys can go up from there, because we're gonna make some money for the Actors Fund. Okay, because that dress is amazing. Now, we also had the opportunity, Valisia, during that first year, to go to the Capitol and perform on a Capitol 4th, and you got to sing the iconic "Stop in the Name of Love," and actually have a clip of that, of you performing. So let's play that.
The Broadway cast of MOTOWN, the musical.
Yes. Yeah, I was like,
I watched that like fully.
Yeah, I know. Wasn't that an incredible day? I mean, and then after that, we got to see the fireworks. It was one of those lifelong moments that I'll always cherish. Yeah. We had some great times during MOTOWN the Musical, but I really want to talk to you about what it was like to finally meet. We have some pictures of you when you finally got to meet Miss Ross when she came out on that stage opening night in that canary yellow. I talk about it in concert all the time when I'm on tour. I mean, look at you. You were overwhelmed, and you hadn't met her before that moment, right?
I've never met her in my life. And, I remember being backstage and being in my dressing room, and you knew like every time someone famous came, everybody would be cheering and you could hear it outside. And I knew when Miss Ross showed up.
Yes. Well, she showed up in a limousine with Berry Gordy, and there was a crowd of people outside. I had some people who had flown in from California who were waiting outside.
They went wild. And I was like, okay, she's here. So get it together. And so when I met her, as a child, when you grew up seeing these iconic human beings, they seem so much larger than life. Yes. And I stood next to her, and all I could say was, I just kept thinking, she's not that tall. That's all I could think about. She's not that tall, because we were like standing next to each other, and she was so human. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She loves being around Mr. Gordy. She adores him. And it's just, you can just tell their chemistry together. Yeah. And so up there with my work husband, Brandon, and all of you guys, it was just Stevie, it was just an amazing moment.
Yeah, it really was. I won't forget though too, Stevie walking up to the stage by himself and on the wrong side where there weren't stairs. Remember, because you would go down the stairs for reach out and touch. So we had escape stairs, but he was going on the different side. I'm like, please, y'all don't let Stevie. He climbed up the orchestra pit. Do you remember that?
First of all, he's a very funny person. He has several openings of MOTOWN the Musical.
Yes.
First, I think people need to understand, like, there was the opening night that was, categorized on April 14th, but we had a previous few.
Yes, we had a friends and family night before that. Yes.
Family night. And so one of the nights I got to hang out with Stevie, and there's this thing they used to say, like, someone's blind, he'll grab your wrist and try to see how cute you are.
Yeah.
So I have pictures of Stevie like full on my wrist, but he would call me Memphis because I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. And so he would make these jokes all night calling me Memphis. And he's just such an amazing, like, loving, kind human being, like, all soul. And so, like, just have those relationships with so many iconic people, but just simply great humans. It's just, you can't buy that anywhere.
Yes, that's true. And you can always see the love that the Motown artists have for each other and for that time in their lives. You know, Smokey often said it was like watching my life pass by right back before me. You know, when he would watch it from the audience, oh, there's me and Smokey. That's when he came for his birthday. Do you remember that? Him and his wife, they share birthday and they came on, and we celebrated backstage with them on their birthday. That's what that picture is from. That's from opening night there. There's Mr. Smokey Robinson.
Yes.
So we had some really good times, you know, and I also want to mention, like as I did at the top of the show, we're dedicating this entire show to the late, great, incomparable Mr. Eric LaPook Summers, who was taken from us too soon. And you were an advocate for Eric. You know, you had gone through a cancer journey and you definitely stepped in. As did the Actors Fund. It helped him financially, but you were there to coordinate us coming to visit him in the hospital, all sorts of things. So is there anything you would just want to say about Eric LaPook Summers before we conclude our show here tonight?
Well, Eric was one of a kind, you know,
Mhm.
always a star, fearless as ever. And he honestly could do anything. And what I loved about
It was
him,
magic.
yeah, you know, it was always, he was destined for greatness. Even in his absence, his greatness still lives on. And I just want to give a shout out to Miss Alfreda Weeks, Miss Alfreda, Eric's mom, because she has become a parent to all of us in this journey. You know, she might have lost Eric, but she got like a whole cast of, you know, daughters and son who continue to love her. But the Actors Fund was really great during that time, because I remember having counselors reach out. Dana and I, who's another friend of yours.
Yes. Hey, Dana, she's watching, I'm sure.
Hello, Dana, my sister. We would be at Eric's house and waiting for the phone call from the Actors Fund to just give us steps about what we need to do, especially when it came to his healthcare, because there's a transition when you're not working as an actor. You could go from Cigna to the affordable healthcare plan. And so the Actors Fund was really, really, like vital in helping us get all of that done, as well as getting him a social worker, making sure that he had rides home, you know, making sure that he had all of his funds taken care of. And the Actors Fund was really, really integral in my journey, because once again, once you're not working, you lose your health insurance. And I honestly did not know what to do after I lost my Cigna insurance through Actors Equity. And it was very scary for me. And the Actors Fund guided me through that process. And so I don't want to sound morbid, but they really are a cradle to the grave. Like they help young resources for young performers. They help you when you're transitioning, when you're doing your senior style life. And they also help you in that homegoing, which they did with Eric. And so it really was an amazing process to work with them, to learn from them, and just to see all the wonderful work that they're doing.
And that's why we're here today, you guys. Everyone, please, if you can, whatever you have in your pockets. I know it's been a very rough year. But before we head out tonight, I just want to say thank you to all who have donated. And I have one more donation to read. Loving Tonight's show. Here is a donation in honor of Ryan getting Valisia pregnant with a music love baby tonight. Stars in the House should host the baby shower. Much love, Kimberly from Chicago. $30. Thank you, Kimberly from Chicago. I'm
gonna match her donation.
And Valisia's gonna match the donation.
$300.
Yes.
Of Ryan and my baby. So
yes.
Yeah.
All right. There we go. So we're gonna oh, look, there's the Motown family. There we are, and there's our director in the front, Mr. Charles Brown. Right. And there's Eric LaPook Summers, if you can see on the bottom left of your screen. There he is. And in fact, I actually have a video so that the world who didn't get to see him in Motown the Musical can know just how incredible and tremendously talented this man was. Take a look. Yes, that is Eric LaPook Summers, ladies and gentlemen. Valisia LeKae, Tony Award nominee Valisia LeKae. Thank you so much for joining me, Miss Ross. It is wonderful to see you. We have to hang out this summer. I will see you very soon at our friend Dana. She commented, she says hello, Dana Ianuzzi. And thank you everyone who has tuned in with us tonight. This has been Motown the Musical Reunited for Stars in the House to benefit the Actors Fund. Be well. And any actors out there or anyone in the entertainment industry who is watching, please don't hesitate to reach out to the Actors Fund. If you find yourself in need or at a desperate time, they are here to help. This is exactly why we do this, so that you have that resource. Valisia, thank you again. I love you. And to all, a good night. Be well.